This podcast is part of the Big Heads Media Podcast Network. Go to bigheadsmedia.com for more great podcasts.
The Forest Ramble Mini-Match Report.
After a double header at the City Ground, we've got two match reports for you. In a moment, my thoughts on Forest's draw against Reading. But first, here was Baz after the Luton match.
Luton started this game with 1 intent, and that was to stop us playing, and it really worked. They pressed us really high up the pitch. They were shoving us, they were diving, it was all over the place. But when their goal came, it didn't come from their shoving and their breaking us up. It came from a nice bit of football from them. They sort of did a little cutback and then cut through our defence and scored. However, our quality did start to show at that point, and part of it is because they decided that instead of parking the bus, which is what I would have done in their situation, they decided they were going to carry on playing the same way. So they kept on pressing us right up on the back four, which meant that our back four really struggled to move the ball. But what it did mean is when we could move the ball beyond our back four and into midfield, it meant that Joe Lolly was completely unmarked, which is unheard of for him. Most of this season, he's ended up being double marked. This game, he basically had a free rein, and that's why he ran the show. That's why he was the man of the match. So basically, obviously, he got those 2 goals, but he made a ton of other chances because he just got free rein to run at their defence whenever he wanted. So 2 goals for him was entirely fair. The penalty right at the end was the icing on the cake. Again, as I say, if I was Luton, I would have parked the bus and that would have stopped us playing, but they chose not to do that, and that's why we got the 3 points.
In the aftermath of the draw against Reading, the usual thoughts were flying around. That's a match we should have won, and we really need to be beating teams like Reading if we actually want to get promoted. And also, who knew that lightning could strike twice like that? Sabri Lamouchi chose, rather than a post-match interview, to give a bit of a pep talk and say, don't worry, there's 18 games to go, we can still be positive. I kind of agree with him in some senses, but we can't ignore some of the problems that were there. Once again, we had the majority of possession and it didn't lead to getting many chances. 1 chance, 1 goal, as so often happens. And the resilience shown to actually get to that position, because we hadn't looked like creating anything. But in the end, that little bit of magic between Sammy Amiobi and Yuri Ribeiro created the chance grab and popped away. When there were that many defenders in the box, really we shouldn't have let Sam Bulldog get the shot in the first place. I have no idea if it crossed the line or not, haven't seen it, but I can see why the linesman gave it, and he was in a better position than I was, so I'll let him have that. And then also I would say that the big problem we've got is that, again, we could have possession because Reading let us have possession. They basically shithoused us into getting the result they wanted. They kept 9 or 10 men behind the ball all the time. And in the first half, we gave them a run for their money. In the second half, when there was slightly less energy on the pitch, we just struggled to create and break through that wall of black shirts. So still work to do. The positive is that we've still got the game against Leeds and the game against West Brom to come. And so all of a sudden, if we manage to take points off them, then it will still mean that we're in a really good position. We're now in the stage where the table doesn't lie. So Forest are 4th in the league, and actually, that's probably about right.
Small Town Secrets is a podcast that explores the secrets and strangeness of small towns across the globe. They may be local legends, paranormal, true crime, or just plain weird. Join me every other week as I tell you stories of these small towns, as well as local headlines and listener stories. Get it wherever you get your podcast. For more info, check out stscast.com. Every town has a secret. What is yours?